G'day team, Jeremy Britton, 24-hour wealth coach, down at the marina on a beautiful day, and just having some random thoughts and thinking about people have issues. We all have issues. If you don't think that you have issues, then perhaps one of your issues is that you don't think that you have issues. And I'm just comparing this. You're driving a vehicle, you're taking this vehicle through life. This vehicle is your body, and someone's attached something on behind the vehicle. Now, if it's a giant box trailer, obviously you're aware that there's something there dragging along behind you, and sometimes you're not aware. It might be a flat box trailer that you're not aware that's slowing down your vehicle. It might be something that's not actually slowing you down, it's just a little bit annoying. And if you were deaf and you just got married and you had the tin cans tied on behind your car, then they're making a lot of racket, and you wouldn't be even realizing that they're there because they're not in your line of sight, they're not in your rear view mirror, they're just making a lot of noise. And you're driving your vehicle along the road, you're deaf of course, and you don't realize why people are smiling or laughing or waving or pointing at you, because you're not aware that those issues are there dragging along behind you. And of course you have issues, someone has attached those issues to you for their own purposes, for their own amusement, like the little tins along behind, or maybe the box car, they wanted something taken somewhere. Whether it's a societal issue, a cultural issue, a religious issue, whatever belief system it is, somebody's given you this issue. Somebody taught you from a very young age that it's a great idea for you to go to school for 12 years and learn a whole bunch of stuff that 90% of it you're never going to use again. Someone's taught you the belief system that it's a great idea to spend 40 years of your life working on someone else's dream, making all their dreams come true, building their empire, and then for the last few years of your life, after you retire, you can finally go and do the things that you want to do. Somebody's told you that's a good idea. Somebody's told you what language to speak, what God to believe in, whether to go to church, whether not to go to mosque or temple or whatever the case may be. Someone has attached these things to you for their own agenda. Of course, in the religious world, they want you to believe in their God because, hey, it's a business. At the end of the day, churches and mosques and temples are businesses. They want you to come in there, want you to believe in their propaganda, and they want you to give them money. Okay? Obviously all of these businesses are in competition because the Catholics are saying they're the only right religion, and the Methodists are saying they're the only right one, and the Jews are saying they're the only right one, because they're all competing for your business. Like KFC or McDonald's or Coca-Cola or Pepsi would compete for your business because they want you and they want your money. And the societal belief systems, I mean, who would benefit from having people believe that it's a great idea to go and work 40, 50 hours a week for somebody else building their dream? Who would benefit from that? Of course, it's the business owners, it's the corporations, it's the people in authority who tell you that it's a great idea for you to come and work and build their dreams, and later on you can have what you want. It seems a little similar to the religious thing: come along, follow our rules, do our things, and after you die, then you'll have happiness in some afterlife off somewhere. It's this promise of come and fulfill all of our needs and our desires first, later on you'll get what you want. What if these belief systems, what if these little things that these people have tagged on behind you, what if those aren't actually true? What if you could just find out how to reach around and take those things off? Well, first of all, you've got to realize they're there. If you can't see the box trailer, if you can't see the flatbed trailer, if you're deaf and you can't hear the tin cans dragging along behind your car, you're going to need someone else, a trusted advisor, a coach or a mentor, to actually identify those issues for you. And oftentimes, just when you're talking to someone, you can see their issues. You can look at someone else and say, hey dude, you've got issues. I can see your issues. You've got unresolved conflict with your mum, or you've never forgiven your dad for not being there when you were growing up because he was always working for someone else. Or whatever the issue is, you know, you're too religious, you're not religious enough, you're too spiritual, you're not spiritual enough, you're too obsessed with money, you're not obsessed with money. Whatever the issue is, you can often see it in other people. It's very easy for you to identify other people's issues, but it's another matter entirely for you to identify your own issues, for you to see what's dragging along in your rear end. And this is why we have coaching, this is why we have mentoring, this is why we have people who can actually chat to you, figure out what those things are, and then say to you, hey, now that you're aware of that, would you like to get rid of it? You know, just because you have been infected with religion, or you've been infected with capitalism, or you've been infected with Christianity, or whatever it happens to be, maybe you like having it there, and that's okay, as long as you're aware of it and you're conscious of it and you consciously choose it rather than having someone else attach it to you. Imagine if you went through school, instead of 12 years of teaching you trigonometry and geography and algebra and all these other things and what the capital of Uzbekistan is, imagine if they said to you, look, for the first year we're just going to do Christianity, then the next year we're going to do Buddhism, and the next year we're going to do Judaism, and next year we're going to do Islam, and the next year we're going to do this, and after 5-6 years you get to choose whichever religion you want to be. Wouldn't that be interesting? Or imagine if they just taught you different jobs, different businesses, rather than how to get a job working for someone else. They said, hey, this is how you can actually pay your rent, this is how you can balance your checkbook, this is how you can lease a car, this is how you can buy an investment property. So life skills, that would be interesting. Again, you might want to have those, you might not. Some people go through their entire life without ever buying a share, without ever buying a business, without ever buying an investment property. But it's good to know that if you wanted to do those things, here's the book on how to do that. Here's a lesson on how to do that, and not have the issues, not have the fear, not have the trepidation of, I could never do that, or I can't buy shares because my grandfather lost all his money back in 1929, or I could never buy an investment property because in 1987 my grandmother bought an investment property and it burned down, or whatever the case may be. Letting go of these issues, letting go of these things that drag you back. First of all, you've got to identify them. First of all, you've got to see them for what they are, have someone else point it out for you, and then you can choose, okay, I'd like that removed. Okay, I'd like that taken away. I've got a fear and phobia of being attacked by dogs, or being touched by a penguin, or I don't like worms, or I don't like spiders. 90% of the spiders running around can't kill you. They're daddy long legs or something like that. So that's an irrational fear, and if it's stopping you from living a happy life, you may want to get rid of that fear. You may want to get rid of the phobia of being on airplanes. You might want to get rid of these little issues that you have. Obviously, if you're swimming every day in the marina and you have a fear of sharks, that's probably a good thing. That could be a practical thing, but again, once you're conscious of it, once you have it brought to your attention, then you can choose whether you want to let it go or whether you want to hang on to it. I'll talk to you soon, somewhere around, or at 24hourwealthcoach.com.